This season of Comic Trips is brought to you by Hake's Americana and Collectibles, Tiki Board Games, and Luke and Cade's Toychest. Check the links in the description below for more information. In case you're not aware, I'll give you the quick rundown of how Biff to the Future is pushed. To avoid problems with the IRS, multimillionaire Biff Tannen has entered into an unholy alliance with the US government to fix problems such as toxic waste disposal that the feds can't handle themselves. In so doing, Biff has bought up much of Hill Valley and has transformed it into an industrial hellhole. He is opposed by the Hill Valley Civic Committee, led by George McFly. George, thinking he has found an informant in Biff's organization, goes to a late-night meeting, only to find an informant is Biff himself, who murders George in and out.
It's a new day, yes it is.
Why are you allowed to do that?
Okay, first of all, I want to dedicate this episode and this shirt to Emilio Spark. Because when we were hanging out, we were talking about how I like extra condiments on things. I like heavy ketchup, load me up with the gravy. I like extra sauce.
You definitely douse.
I love my doused in sauce.
You are a slosher.
A slosher. I do. I slosh.
You do.
But we went into Forever 21 because he wanted to get some sunglasses, and I found this shirt and it says heavy on the sauce. And he's like, Kat, if you don't buy that, we're not friends anymore. So it's a beautiful day. We are not in New Jersey. In fact, we are like 6 hours away from Atlantic City right now. 6 hours north.
We're far. We drove very far.
We trekked. Okay, first of all, let me just ask: is this the farthest that we've traveled domestically in a car for a shop? Because I think it is. A special trip, yes. Yeah.
So we drove down to Myrtle Beach, and we went to Apocalypse
Comics. Yeah, but we didn't go there specifically for...
Right. I would say that, yeah, this right now is the furthest single drive that we have ever done to specifically go to a shop and then the event that we're going to tomorrow. We're 250 miles from your parents' house, which is 100 miles from where we live.
Yeah, we're far.
We're 350-ish miles away from home right now.
We're in Syracuse, New York.
Syracuse?
Syracuse.
Syracuse?
Syracuse? Syracuse?
Syracuse, eh?
Holy shit, it's so nice outside. But yesterday it was like 100 degrees, and today it's like nice and...
This says 60 degrees outside.
Perfect.
I guess it's because we're so close to Canada.
Canada, eh?
Almost
made it. We didn't bring our passports. Our moose passports. 2 years ago, when we first set up at Wizard World.
Our very first?
Very first Wizard World. We were noobs. A gentleman comes over to our booth and introduces himself as Jeff Watkins. And Paul was like, bruh, I know you. I don't know you, but like, I know you. And he was like, bruh, I know you too. I don't know you, but I know you. And sure enough, Jeff and Paul lived in the same realm of the music scene. They know a ton of the same people. Jeff has a comic and toy store called Cloud City. First of all, I was like, Cloud City, like Star Wars? Yes, like Star Wars.
Yeah.
And he told us that it was in Syracuse, New York, and we were like, oh man, that's so far from where we live, but we want to make it out there one day. And Jeff is like, hands down, and I've only met Jeff a handful of times, nicest dude. I said this before, Jeff is the walking version of PMA. Like when you think positive mental attitude, yeah. PMA, or you hear the song, Jeff. He
is a very big active person in his local community.
Yeah.
He tries to support public events. He holds public events. I believe today they're doing some type of video game tournament at their store.
Like I said, this was 2 years ago that we first met Jeff, and we were like, yeah, let's go to your store. Here we are. 7 seasons later.
And we're just getting there now.
But that's okay.
Truth be told, when we were trying to figure out our routing for season 5, remember when we did the RV trip, we were trying to figure out, all right, do we go north, out, and back? Do we go out, up, and back? Do we go down? Yeah, because if we were going to go north, we were going to hit Cloud City. Right. But we decided to go down. Right.
South. But that's okay, because this just makes it so much better. Like, he's getting his own special trip from us. because we're up here, we have an event to go do tomorrow, and we're like, hell yeah, let's go to Cloud City. Perfect timing.
So overdue. So overdue. Like, yeah, we're going to get up to your store soon. We said that it was a World Philly 2015. I think that a lot of people outside of upstate New York, let's say people that are from New Jersey, from Delaware, Maryland, the Philadelphia area, we grievously underestimate how big upstate New York is.
Yeah,
we think of Poughkeepsie, Albany, Syracuse, Buffalo.
Wow.
All those spots are like, you know, a half an hour from each other, kind of like how everything is.
This took us 5 hours to get up here.
Tomorrow, it's another 2.5 hours from where we are now.
Yeah, to go to Buffalo. 2.5 hours.
It's worth it. I can guarantee it. I can absolutely guarantee it.
It's good times.
Good times.
It's beautiful outside.
Yep, let's go to the mall. You need a Red Bull.
Red Bull.
Red Bull.
Red Bull.
Well, Syracuse is an interesting city. You know, I grew up here. My father raised 5 boys working at an auto production plant of New Venture Gear, division of Daimler Chrysler. But the plant is closed, and like a lot of upstate New York and what's now referred to as the Rust Belt, it's kind of happened a lot. So a lot of cities like Syracuse have to like reinvent themselves. And it's home, and I love Syracuse, and we've had to recreate. And in terms of like passion, in terms of loving things and art and music and comics and toys, like I'll take us against any major city. I'll go toe to toe with San Diego. In terms of passion, what really counts. Now we're broke as a city, but in terms of like of love and looking out for each other, love my town. Every kid that comes into a comic store for the first time in his life is really ultimately, you're creating the possibility for a moment that they'll remember for the rest of their entire life. Those of us that have been doing comics and toys as long as we have, we remember the first time we went to a comic store. That moment is what we're constantly trying to create here. That's constantly what we're pursuing. This mall, as recently as 10 years ago, was shoulder to shoulder. Recently, the Wall Street Journal had a really fascinating article. Now, I'm 41, and when I was a kid, you went to the mall to see what your friends were wearing, what music they were listening to, what movies they wanted to see, what shows they were watching. It was where young demographics ultimately got together to exchange ideas and share pop culture. But it's different now. In the advent of technology, a kid from his couch can throw a headset on while playing Call of Duty, and he knows what music is cool. He knows what's good. So nationwide, I think malls have seen a rapid decline because young people aren't flocking to them to exchange anymore. They're in social media and they're on Snapchat. So malls everywhere have seen, and that's why you've seen stores like JCPenney and Macy's and Payless, Nordstrom. They're closing stores, but there is an opportunity for comic and toy stores, because there's an opportunity for us to have bigger stores than we've ever had. And you know, my store, it might be a dilapidated mall or an empty mall, but people are coming to these stores. They're coming, they don't care. My first store, we had opened 9 years, we just had our 9th anniversary. The first 3 years, I was in a small, the store was about a quarter the size. I was paying double the rent. By being able to take advantage of the economic downturn of shopping malls, I'm able to host video game tournaments, pinball tournaments, magic tournaments. I'm able to stock my shelves with so much inventory, and I'm able to just keep taking in collections. So I think the intelligent comic and toy store owners are looking for the best square footage and rent, because we're a destination. You're going to us. When you're a kid, remember when you were a kid and you had saved up your allowance or you had a paper route or whatever, mom or dad taking you to that comic store, that was a holiday. And again, we're always trying to recreate that magic. That moment is what we're always pursuing. And you know, being in a mall that's seen some tough times gives us a lot of opportunity. And isn't that what comics are all about? Is making the best of the situation and finding the opportunity to best serve the public. So in that tradition, I learned a lot from comics, and that's why we're here now. True story.
Nope. Only have 1 and 2.
But what's the difference? Just a
Regular
variant?
variant.
Variant cover, okay. Do you like this cover better? I like this cover better too.
Yeah.
use the word customer in the store. We don't use the word. We're not allowed to say it because you're supposed to. That's why we have a couch with a coffee table and books on there. Like, you're supposed to feel like you're hanging out with your. Otherwise, what's the point, man? This should be fun. If you're not smiling when you leave my store, I failed. How many times people come in and go, oh man, I used to have all this. Like, that's like, I feed off that. It's like, good. You're supposed to feel that way.
We can have basket knife versus Cookie and Mambo.
Baby, you doing Spider-Man and Black Cat?
We can also have Sean and Cade versus Sean and
So I'm gonna put this one back in order to get this one. Because it's like the Gwen cover and I don't have it. I'm not even collecting this line, but they did a whole Gwen series. Get out of jail free. So we downloaded the CLZ app and we inputted all of our books. So this is both of our collections in one. And I'm gonna scroll down to Jughead here. Jughead. I have number 9, so I need number 10. It's an ongoing new story arc with Sabrina, the Teenage Witch. So gonna need that. Oh look, there's 11. You don't have 12, so I'm not gonna pick up 14.
So what's that?
Cody and the Creepies. There's 1 and 2. I don't know. It's Boom.
So,
I'm gonna have to read it.
yeah.
I also have the WrestleMania one. Spice up your comic collection now with these rare variants of popular comics. Okay, Jeff, I will. How does he know I love variants so much? If I see a variant box, I'm gonna dive in head first.
So we just took in a toy collection. And it's cool because people can bring us, you know, old action figures, things they don't want anymore, and we buy it. So I gotta get through some of this Power Rangers, some of these Transformers, a lot of Marvel Legends, some DC, and we love the loose toys because, I mean, let's face it, we all grew up with it. We all think it's like wildly fun. It's always fun when someone brings me a cool toy collection and we make a big purchase. This one's pretty heavy with the Transformers. So all these comics, most of this is recent take-ins because we buy comic and toy collections pretty much every day. I still have some stuff here from Star Wars Celebration. This, for example, is signed by Forrest Whitaker, Riz Ahmed, Alan Tudyk. We had a really nice meet and greet with Felicity Jones, who's Jyn Erso. So that was, we're still processing a ton of this stuff that we've been getting autographed. Back here is our stock room. So we buy these collections constantly. And Upstate New York is a wealth of comic collections. A lot of people lived here for generations, so the stuff that stayed in their house because they haven't moved is still there. I've had Fantastic Four #1. I've had multiple copies of Avengers #1, #4, X-Men #1. Recently, an entire run of Preacher all the way through, missing nothing. And then back here, we still process it all. So these are still in process. And then back here,
Oh my god.
Oh, it keeps going.
all of this is still in process. Stacks of Deadpool and Star Wars and the fun stuff. So we're constantly
Churning stuff out.
Constantly.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we can't even keep up with it most days. I keep finding crazy artwork. Ken Lashley.
Wow.
Dave Dorman. Alex Maleev. This was this was probably 20 years, or well, maybe 15 years ago.
To Jeff.
Jeff Darrow.
Oh, that's awesome.
My daughter.
That's awesome.
I forget that I have a bunch of this stuff. Like,
Oh my god, that's sick.
I keep forgetting that it's Joe Sinnott, Invisible Woman, Star Wars Thrawn exclusive, and it's signed by Timothy Zahn. These are original pages from Vinyl Underground by Cameron Stewart, who later went on to do Fight Club 2, and I remember buying these. I go, I want one with sex and one with violence, and so
He's like, here you
Done
go.
and done.
yeah, I keep forgetting that we even have this much stuff, but
Oh my god.
Chuck Palahniuk, super cool, crazy, awesome, nice man. Oh, Mike Zeck for Cloud City. Arthur Adams, David Mack. This is a Punisher page from an issue where he went back in time to fight Al Capone and bring down the original criminal figure. And what's crazy is the inker hid all these faces in the pottery, and I didn't notice until I bought the original page. Arthur Adams, he's one of my favorites. Zach Howard and Mike Raich. Wild Blue Yonder, which has been optioned for a cool movie. And, Andy Lee hand-painted that. Bill Sienkiewicz. Frank Cho in 2003, Eric Larson, Tom Coker, Art Baltazar from Tiny Titans, Kevin Conrad from Spawn. I don't know what's in these things sometimes. I just kind of flip through. Kevin Eastman. This is crazy. So a few years ago at East Coast Comic Con, funny story about this. If
Wait, what is this?
If you look at the
Oh.
date, so it was the end of the East Coast Comic Con, and I walked up and I said, "Hey man, I hate to gush. It's awkward for you. It's awkward for me. But between Shogun Warriors, Wolverine, G.I. Joe, like without you, my childhood doesn't look like what it looks like, and I'm not who I am. So I hate to gush, but man, thank you for everything you've done and your contribution to my life." And it was the end of the show. He was packed up. I was packed up. I was on the way out. He signed this and gave this to me, and I said, "Comic Cons, like, they wear me out. Like, I'm too old for this." He goes, "You're too old." He's like, "Man, these things really." We just agreed that a lot of conventions can really kick your ass. He signed that. Unfortunately, it was the last autograph he ever signed. He signed it and passed away about 12 hours later.
Wow.
And that was, so people ask, and I would never sell it. I would never get rid of it. It was, it just means too much. And losing our legends is never easy.
Yeah, no.
So
But that's an awesome piece. You should frame them.
my good swipers at my Comic Con, so throw me a zip code.
08234. That looks like an Apple iMac keyboard.
This thing's weird. That's why it's so weird. Give me your autograph, homie. I'm your biggest fan. Wait for it.
Bring it in. Thank you so much. I hope everything goes well. I hope,
Gonna go killer.
Seriously.
Gonna go killer. I know it is.
Hoping that you're, give our best to your wife.
Oh, I'll extend that.
She's got to be an incredible woman if she's with you.
She's dope. I got a good one, man.
I got a good. We're lucky.
Listen,
we're lucky guys.
we definitely are out of our depth here. We definitely lucked out with women that are way too good for us.
Oh, I know. So we are apparently in the Buffalo Brewery District, which is 5 or 6 blocks away from the Niagara Buffalo Convention Center, which is where the event is that we are tomorrow. This is a pamphlet that I picked up from the front desk over there, and just apparently there's a whole bunch of stuff. Pearl Street Grill and Brewery, Brawler's Back Alley Deli, Hotel at the Lafayette, Pan American Grill and Brewery, Lofts on Pearl, which is where we are. The lady at the front desk said that this place has been around since the late 1800s. Take a look at how far back that goes. This is like a third of a floor here, and we got this hotel room for about the same price, and it's a Saturday, that you would pay for an Atlantic City casino hotel room like on a Tuesday.
Weekday.
Yeah, it's an old facade of a 19th century building with a lot of modern amenities. I like it. It's cool because it's completely different than anything that we have near where we live.
Or that we've ever stayed in.
Yes.
We've never stayed in anything like this.
This place is huge.
This is awesome.
Anywho, so you have this technically
In the box.
in the box.
In the box. In the box.
How much did you pay for this?
Jeff gave it to me.
Let's talk about Jeff Watkins real quick.
Jeff Watkins, stay gold.
Jeff Watkins is a 41-year-old kid at heart with what I can only guess is a heart of gold.
No, there's no guessing. He has a heart of gold.
He looks out for his fellow man like few people I have ever dealt with before. He runs his comic book shop based on community, based on trust, and based on the faith that you'll take care of your fellow man. We had a great time at his shop, and we found some pretty good stuff.
Yo, his store though. If you go there just to hang out, you'll spend some time there. He's got, the couch with the coffee table with books on it, so if you just want to sit and read. An arcade set up. While we were there, he had a Super Smash Bros. Tournament going on.
With just all old school televisions, like old tube TVs.
Yeah, there
and
were tube
everything.
TVs. They weren't like on flat screens or anything.
To be honest with you, when we walked into the mall, we were kind of taken aback by the complete lack of
Stores.
anything.
Even like food. The food court was like empty.
There were no people in the area that we went into. 1 out of every 5 stores was actually full of something. And then you come around the corner to this back end of the mall, and that's where all the people were. And they were
all in Cloud City.
Everybody was in Cloud City. And it's crazy because it seems like his store has been one of the only ones that's able to sustain there. And he was talking about the economic downturn in the area, and they're trying to readapt, but he doesn't seem to be having much of an issue. I can attest to what that feels like. I live, and you now live in an area where there was an economic downturn, seeing the place hustle and bustle, and then kind of like everybody fighting for the little pennies that come in. That's 10 years ago, Atlantic City was a whole different animal, and then we're on the recovery now, and it seems like that's exactly what it is in Syracuse.
So Jeff is the walking epitome of PMA.
Yes.
And today he really just knocked it out of the park with us. In his store, he had graphic novels on the wall. He had magic cards. He had some busts. He had older comics, like some back issues and some boxes. Then he had newer comics along the wall. Most of his hammers are at Nickel City Con, so we're gonna review that next webisode. Normally, the back behind the counter would be filled with graded comics, but I feel like you and I made out pretty well today.
Well, the prices there are very reasonable as it is anyway.
Yeah.
And I think that there's this inherent inability for Jeff to not give someone a good deal. Nice little stack
Nice
here.
little haul.
Not the biggest haul we've ever had, but it's some pretty quality stuff. Yours. Oh. What the hell? Hold on. What is that? What the hell is that? Are you kidding me?
Where was that from my bachelorette party?
So that it looked like an entire bachelor party on...
Bachelorette.
That's what I said. That looked like an entire bachelorette party on a sideways bike.
Pedaling down the street, drinking.
Oh my God!
But the middle of it was a bar, and they were all drinking. We might need to make another trip to Buffalo.
That just blew my mind. I'm gonna text Jeff Watkins, see if he'll come here tonight, and him and I just go out.
Just pedal around,
Yeah.
drinking beers and screaming, Becky.
Let's hold up our respective... What'd you get?
Okay, first thing I grabbed was the Deadpool Bad Blood hardcover that just came out recently. So the artwork is done by none other than himself, Rob Liefeld. And it was the last one he had on the wall too, so I was like, it's mine. So I do have Jughead number 9. It's a new story arc with Sabrina, but okay, check this cover. She's on a hamburger. Check the back of my shirt. It's a hamburger. This is a new story from Boom Studios. It's called Misfit City. I have no idea what it's about, but I'm gonna read it.
Is it because of the cover art spoke to you?
That and because it's Boom.
Fair enough.
I used my CLZ app today, and I was able to identify 3 Lumberjanes that I didn't have. I grabbed them. That was number 33, 32, and 37. Grabbed the WWE ongoing number 4. Got Roman Reigns on the cover. Could have done without that. So this is also a new thing from Boom Studios that I grabbed called Cody and the Creepies. And the cover artist is Kat Lath, and she does Lumberjanes. So I was like, I'm immediately drawn to it, but I was also drawn to it because Boom Studios, people, boom. Also, like, they feel nice.
Oh, okay.
They got nice books. Jeff had a box, no, not just a box. He had a section of variants that was like, spice up your collection with some variants.
You sure did? No, you're not.
First one I grabbed was the Black Widow number 19. This is the Gwen variant, so they were doing Gwen variants for all the books for that month. Lumberjanes Gotham Academy 1C. This is the variant. Okay, so that's the thing, is that he had all the C variants for Lumberjanes Gotham Academy, and I've never found the C variants. I also want to show you something in this Comic CLZ app real quick. Variants, I have number 1A, B, C, D, missing E, F, I have G, missing H, I have J, and K. So I'm missing 4 variants.
That's a lot of variants.
And then I also have variants. Number 2, I have A, B, and C. 3, I have A, B, and C. 4, I'm missing C.
I started digging, and then I would get distracted and go over and look at something else. And I started digging again. Then Jeff came in, and I just kept wanting to go back and talk to Jeff more and more and more and more.
He's a captivating creature. You want to listen to him talk.
Yes.
He's also got very good talking voice. I gotta go.
Very good talking voice. I grabbed a few issues, didn't go absolutely nuts. I grabbed Biff to the Future number 4. This is the ongoing story of what?
What's weird is that the Comic CLZ app has this cover listed as number 5, and it's not.
Newer line that I actually started reading when we went to Canada is Deadpool versus Punisher. This is number 3. This is actually the variant cover. I like that cover better than the actual standard cover. That's why I picked it up. As you may know, I recently fell and plummeted down the Detective Comics hole, which I know a lot of people are wondering, why don't you cover as many DC comics? Well, I was kind of trying to avoid falling down that precipice, that unholy...
Good word.
Okay. Detective Comics starring Batman, number 546. So many issues.
I logged all of these on our drive from Syracuse to Buffalo, so they're all in our app already.
Detective Comics number 599. Detective Comics number 601. I picked up number 600 at Stormwatch for free comic book day, so that's nice. Detective Comics number... what? No? Detective Comics number 607.
Are you off your rocker?
Detective Comics number 621. No good? Detective Comics number 652 from October of 1992. I mean, these right here, these are 25, 30, 35-year-old books right here. And these are a couple bucks a piece. $3.25, $3.25. Like, this is $3. Like, his prices are great. And then one last one. As you know, there was a while when I was cranking out a ton of issues of Uncanny X-Men. What? Oh my God,
I was
what?
waiting for you to
No.
flick the book.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, good.
So from June of 1988, I grabbed Uncanny X-Men number 230. This is one of the few in that run, in that area that I actually don't have. If you watch this channel from the early days of cranking them out, and the older ones are pretty expensive, so kind of sticking to the 150 and up right now because all the other ones are a lot of money.
And then we vlogged all of them in our CLZ app, so we know which ones we actually have now. That store is incredible. Jeff does such a wonderful job, like organizing his store, laying it out. He hosts events all the time.
He goes to events all the time.
He goes to events all the time. He helps out his fellow man. He helps out his community. Overall, his store, giant thumbs up.
There's literally no question about it. So overdue. Yeah. Jeff, Cloud City, you guys know what the hell you're doing, and
Knocked
you
it
do
out
it
of
very
the
well.
park.
His whole staff is great there. This is not the only stuff that we walked away with. However, this is the only stuff that we purchased. We actually met up with a gentleman named Bobby who watches the show. He's been watching the show since 2015, and he bestowed upon us a nice little payload of $1 books for our charity
There's
bins.
some good stuff in there too. We're not gonna go through them all, but like, this is a hefty stack.
Yeah, just to give you an idea, it starts with
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider #1, and it goes into Rampage 2099, Shadowhawk, and then
Wow, Todd McFarlane.
yeah. So there's some good stuff in here. This is cool stuff that we're gonna put in our $1 charity bins at the next show that we set up. Bobby, thank you very much
that was really
for
nice of you to do that.
not only giving us these books to put in our charity bins, but thank you for coming out to the store and meeting up with us. The fact that anyone wants to do that is still a bit of a mind, but it's incredible and it's awesome, and we love meeting up with people who have watched the show for a while, making new friends. We don't like using the term fans for this show. We like to call you friends we haven't met yet, and then once we meet you, we are your friend. We don't consider ourselves higher or better than anyone. The only difference is that we have a camera on when we're doing stuff. That's literally it, and we're extremely appreciative of when people give us their time. We bestowed upon Bobby an enamel pin, gave him some stickers, and we gave him some of the original pins that we had made up a couple years ago. Today was a good day. Wow, so much driving since yesterday, and you know what? We get to drive all the way back home tomorrow. Such a long drive.
If you'd like to become part of our family, hit that button down below. Leave a comment below of your favorite part of the video. What was your favorite pickup that we grabbed? If you saw something in the store that you would have grabbed, what would you have gotten? There's only one thing left to do, guys.
Autobots, roll out!
We're rolling out, we're popping zits, we're taking it back. We're doing all the fun stuff. Listen, I'm gonna get real on this channel. You know what else is up here? Dinosaur buffalo. I mean, dinosaur buffalo.
Dinosaur buffalo?
Dinosaur barbecue.
Yes, that's where we're gonna go for lunch today.
Dinosaur buffalo. I'm just trying to think about where that. Okay, so I think I was thinking 2.5 hours to Buffalo, dinosaur barbecue, dinosaur buffalo.
Right.
They came together and merged.
You need a Red Bull. Let's go to the mall.
You gotta cut that out.